is, it looks like all the selectmen are here except for Mark Pendergast, who is in a business meeting right now. We have town manager, the town clerk's in her office, and we have one person waiting in the room ready to talk about public comment. Please stand with me and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is the approval of our September 22nd minutes. Is there any comments?
So moved. I think that was just, I believe Mark was via Zoom as well.
Yes.
If I remember right.
Yep.
Yeah, Anne pointed that out and I corrected that.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and a second. I'll go through the roll. Is Ed?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Thank you. That brings us to our first public comment. We have one person waiting in the wings, Carrie Flagg, for public comment. Carrie, can you hear us? You are muted right now, Carrie.
There you go. I can hear you fine.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, so Carrie Flagg for a long haul drive. I just wanted to take a quick minute to publicly thank the Board of Selectmen for allowing the Noble Squires football and cheering program the use of the Berwick Rec Field this year. You know, on behalf of the board members, the coaches, the players, and the players' family, we're all very appreciative of to be able to use that field space again this year. So thank you.
So thank you. We appreciate the comment. You know, I know that there was a bit of a rough patch there, but we seem to have gotten that straightened out. There was some misunderstandings. No, I for one thought that you were associated with the schools, and that's why we originally said, since the schools weren't playing, that no, we felt that you shouldn't be. But you know, as you pointed out, you're a different entity from them, and if you were following all the protocols, there was no reason for us to deny it. So,
Yes,
I don't know.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. I believe that was all we had for public comments.
Yeah.
All right. We have no public hearings. Nothing from the committees to report. No department reports yet.
Nope.
Appointments, presentations, and other guests. Nothing. Unfinished business. And that brings us to the town manager's report.
Let's start with the fire station and the police station. That is just about completed. They have a few loose ends to tie up on the inside. The epoxy floor in the apparatus bay will be done next Tuesday, and it'll take a week to sit. And we were told today that they can move in a week from that Tuesday, which I think is the 28th.
I believe so, yeah.
So they're excited about that. If anybody hasn't been by the station or driven in, you got to take a look. It's absolutely beautiful. They've done a great job for us. And that project hopefully is coming to an end. Also, they 71 Sullivan, they moved all of the granite that we had left from the fire station site, and they put that up at 71 Sullivan Street, and that finishes that project as well, which is also nice to have it done before the snow flies. The audits are in. If you hadn't had a chance, a copy of the audit is here for you. Come on in, and if you can pick it up, I'll send you a copy of the management letter. That is between the Board of Selectmen and management. There's nothing outstanding on that. I thought the audit went very well, and we ended up a little bit more in our undesignated fund balance this year, carryover from a very good revenue year. So that helped. But otherwise, it went smooth and everything is done. Halloween, I've been asked if the Board of Selectmen was going to not approve for the citizens of Berwick to go out with their children and trick or treat. I told this individual I didn't think we had the authority to do that. It's really up to the parents and the people who are handing out candy if they do. So, Tom, I'll let you comment on that.
Well, Steve and I talked about this before, and I wanted to bring it up to the rest of the board and see, as Steve said, I don't know that we have the authority to shut it down. I understand some towns are, some cities, municipalities are. We're not doing anything as a town. We're not doing the trunk or treat, the library thing, the thing at the town hall here. There were some concerns that some of the other towns have canceled theirs or said they weren't doing it, and that's going to drive more people into Berwick. As I know that there are some people up on Ireland Drive, and Frank brought up over and down and off of Hubbard Road. They expect 200, 300 people on a good year anyways. And so my suggestion is if you don't feel comfortable with having people come to your house on Halloween, don't put your lights on. Don't put out decorations. Other than that, I don't see where we have the authority. So I'd like to hear if anybody else on the board has any feelings on that.
I agree with your comments, Tom. I think it's up to the individuals to determine whether or not they're comfortable with their family being out and about. So as long as they're following the protocols, it's up to them, but we're not here to dictate how they conduct their daily lives.
Right. So.
I think we should make sure that people know that they should still be following social distancing, that hand sanitizer should be plentiful if they are going to go out trick-or-treating. Taking a disinfectant wipe to the candy is not a bad idea either. Just play it on the safe side if you're one of those that want to go out and trick-or-treat. And to point to people going to the community next door, I've already heard of people talking about that if there's not enough trick-or-treating in Berwick, they're just going to go to Dover and Somersworth. So it's no matter what we say, they're going to find a way to participate if they can find people to participate. So I don't think there's a way to stop it, nor do I think that we should. Just make sure that people are trying to do it in a safe way.
I would agree. When we first moved in the early 90s, trick-or-treating was not allowed in Berwick, essentially, but that didn't mean anybody was stopping going house to house.
Right.
In various neighborhoods. Biggest thing this year is you just got to be safe. You got to be smart.
Okay. One thing is, I've been reading a lot about this and talking to people about this, trying to see what other municipalities are doing, and there've been comments about people, just going to leave candy buckets outside, and I would advise against that for a couple of reasons. One is just the contamination factor, but is you can't be sure that somebody's not putting anything in your bucket. So as I said, as we all said, is just be safe and follow, common sense rules.
Okay. Just to follow up on the roads, next week they are going to be doing Logan Street to finish up the top travel layer on that, and then the following week, weather permitting, they're going to do Logan Long Swamp. There's a section there the pavement is peeling off, and we should have enough money to overlay that and get us through the winter and hopefully make it better, safer to drive. I got a call from Mark last week about somebody crack sealing on Old Route 4, and I didn't know we had anybody doing that, and I figured maybe they thought they were in North Berwick. And we hadn't authorized anybody to do it. I know we inquired, but come to find out, Robert had given somebody a list of roads, and they never bothered to call back and tell us they were doing it. And nor did they really give us a total price of what that would cost. So I gave them a cap of what they could spend, and they're out crack sealing Old Sanford Road, Blackberry Hill, and a few of the roads that have quite a few cracks. And this is one year we had to skip last year because we didn't have anybody to do it. So so I'll follow up with that as soon as I have it. On Friday, I met with Great Falls by Zoom and looked at their master plan. It's very exciting to what they're going to do, and I look forward to them presenting it to the public at the end of the month, I guess, or?
This Wednesday, I thought it was.
Okay.
There's one tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
Okay,
Right,
they're going to be Zooming from their office.
right.
So I think it'll be pretty exciting to see what they're doing, and different from what I thought they were going to do, but it's still awesome. So try to watch that if you're out and about. The audits, I said, is done, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions of Steve? If not, we'll move on. Is Selectmen's communication. I had also received a couple, messages about trick or treat, and, I think we addressed that. We did have a letter of resignation from the planning board. Sean Winston is resigning, which is unfortunate because they just got everybody on. We just appointed another alternate, so they had a full board. So looks like we'll be moving somebody up to permanent and looking for another alternate there. So other than that is accounts payable. Account payable warrant 20 from September 28th, 2020 for the amount of $37,226.13. We have a payroll warrant 21 from October 1st, 2020 for the amount of $81,136.76. We have a payroll warrant number 22 for October 8th, 2020 for the amount of $765.57. And we have an account payable warrant number 24 from October 13th, 2020. And this one has a lot of big payments in it for the amount of $1,863,413.34. And we have a payroll warrant for October 15th, 2020, payroll warrant number 23 for the amount of $77,719.59. As I'll make a motion to pay the bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll go through the roll. Is Ed,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
and myself is yes. A 4-0, Patty. That brings us to new business and the personnel policy adoption.
We are going to table that. I'm going to ask you to table that. We sent it out to department heads, and they actually came back with some comments and questions. So we haven't had a chance to go through them completely, so we're going to put that on hold until our next meeting. But they are good questions and good recommendations. I want to make sure we address them.
So that's tabled. So that brings us to our January 5th, 2021 town election warrant. I'll get these out so I can look at them. So Article 2 is, shall the town vote to adopt the proposed amendments to the land use ordinance, Exhibit A attached? I haven't had a real chance to look at these, as I thought James would be here to explain them for us, but,
Was there at the last meeting, Tom, that's what he presented.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and then Article 3, shall the town vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to sell or transfer for any town-owned property, including land and buildings, as it deems advisable and is in the best interest of the town. This authority shall remain in effect until rescinded by a future town meeting vote.
And I do need the board to vote yes or no on these tonight.
Yes, I know. I'm just going to go through them quickly. And
Oh, okay.
shall the town, one, approve a capital project consisting of various renovations, upgrades, and improvements to the Berwick Water Plant, including engineering and design costs, transaction costs, and other expenses reasonably related thereto. 2, appropriate the sum of $1,200,000 to provide for the cost of the project. And 3, to authorize the treasurer and chairman of the Board of Selectmen to fund the appropriation through the issuance of general obligation securities of the town with or without call provisions, with or without premiums, and including temporary notes in anticipation of the sale thereof, in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $1,200,000. And 4, to delegate to the treasurer and the chairman of the board the authority and discretion to fix the dates, maturity, interest rates, denominations, calls for redemption with or without premium, refund in form, and other details of said securities, including authority to execute and deliver the securities on behalf of the town. So we have 4 articles. So Article 1 is to elect a moderator. Article 2 is, shall the town vote to adopt the proposed amendments to the land use ordinance? Any questions from the board on those? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept as presented.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? I'll call the roll. Ed?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
And myself is yes. Article 3, shall the town vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to sell or transfer any town-owned property, including lands and buildings, as it deems advisable and in the best interest of the town, and this authority shall remain in effect until rescinded by a future town meeting vote. And the reason this is up is because of the existing fire station. We don't have anything in our articles to let us sell town property. So, you have any comments on it, Steve?
No, I'm kind of surprised, but the town probably has never been put in a position to sell land or buildings, but we do have that coming up in January. If this gets approved, I've been receiving a lot of calls from people that are interested in buying the fire station. So this is why that exists, and this will give you in the future, if we have property or buildings that we want to sell for whatever reason, it gives the board the authority to decide how they want to sell it. And right now, this, just for information, the fire station, the old fire station is being appraised. They talked to Dennis today, and they're going to set up a time and they can go in and look at it. And then they'll get back to us with what they think the value is. So we have a benchmark that we'd like to reach, but it's just housekeeping.
Right. And I'd like to add, this is something that we've discussed before, is when we put that building up for sale, I think it would be prudent for the town to, put stipulations as to what we want to see go in there. Yeah. I think we need to see when the bids come in, what people are actually proposing to do there, rather than just sell it outright. So, any comments? Any questions to Steve? No. Entertain a motion to accept? Yes? No? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Without further discussion, I'll go through the roll. Ed?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
And myself is yes. So then Article 4. And Article 4, I won't read through the whole thing again. This is concerning the Berwick Water Plant and trying to deal with the manganese problems that we have. If you want
I
to
can
elaborate.
comment. This is a loan set up by the Maine Water Drinking Program, DHHS. The bond is through the Maine Bond Bank. We have been approved to borrow that amount. This is, we don't gonna borrow hopefully the whole amount. It's a drawdown as we move forward in making testing and engineering stuff for the plant to clean up some of the manganese issues and disinfectant byproduct. We'll draw that down as needed. So it might only be 500,000 or it might be 700,000. So we don't have to spend everything. So we'll be very careful and make sure we move forward. So that's what that's all about.
Any questions of Steve? If not, do we have a motion? Have a
Second?
motion and a second. Is without further discussion, I'll go through the roll, is Ed,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. Thank you. That brings us to,
Tom,
yes?
I do have one question on that. The last page says that signed and approved as presented and amended by the Selectmen on their meeting on the 27th day of October. Patty, does that need to be the 13th, because that's today?
No, I have to put all your votes on the final one, and you'll sign it at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So that brings us to 2020 Municipal Valuation Return.
Karen's on the phone.
Karen, are you there? I don't hear Karen.
She's muted.
Is she there?
Yes,
Says
it's
Karen's
her.
iPhone.
It says Karen too.
Hello,
Karen,
Karen.
can you unmute? I don't have my phone, she might have texted me.
We have Karen's thing
Here you
listed.
go.
Oh, Karen? Oh, no. She's back out again.
I think she was open on two things and it was.
Right, getting some feedback, yeah. Yeah. The joys of the technological meetings. Is she there? No.
I'm gonna run and get my phone and see if I can text her.
Okay.
Oop, she's gone.
She's flashing on and off. So,
I can basically go through this if you like.
right, why don't you start and we
Yeah,
can,
good. This is a report that we, we file every year about this time after we do commitment. It goes to the main revenue services. It's a municipal evaluation return, very detailed about all the taxable real estate and personal property, any other tax information. It covers the homestead exemption reimbursement claim, the Betty program as well, tax increment financing, that's it, part of this. How much we received in excise tax, report that. Electrical generation and property, that would be CMP. What the transmission lines values are. Any forest lands that are under tree growth, we have to list the values associated with that. And anything else under farmland and open space, they get special values for what they have for wood and materials value. Working waterfront, we don't have any, so that stays out. And any other types of exempt property that we may have. Religious houses, churches get listed here. Anything that belongs to fraternal organizations, which I guess we do have some. But it's just a kind of a list of everything that we do. Sewer district is part of this. So it's a very comprehensive report of all the values and tax exemptions that exist. So Usually Paul goes through,
Audio isn't working, so she's trying.
Paul fills this out, McKinney usually does a great job. So, looks like it's,
Now, is this something that we have to
we
vote
have
on?
to, yeah, you do have to vote on it.
Okay.
And also sign, because you are the Board of Assessors,
Right.
so you have to okay this.
No, nothing yet. So if we can't get Karen, what do we do?
Well, you can check it, you can still vote on this. I mean, it's,
Okay. Is, with the, then we have the abatements,
yeah, after
Coming up.
this, we have the abatements coming up,
right,
but,
abatements coming up.
and those are pretty straightforward. I'll go through those with you as well.
All right, so the municipal valuation return that we're talking about, you know, as Steve said, it's pretty comprehensive. It lists everything under the, you know, that we have under all the exemptions, the homestead exemptions, the farmland, the tree growth, everything like that. It's some interesting information, you know, 54 parcels listed under the tree growth and, you know, 39 parcels listed as farmland. So it's very interesting about what's in here. Are there any questions of Steve about this?
The public would like to see it. It's all part of what we have in the assessor's office. This goes to the Department of Revenue for their review as part of what we file.
So, one thing it does show in here, the South Berwick Sewer District has some property in town. Must be out on the,
Near the golf course.
right, out that way, a pump station or something.
Are we charging them enough?
No, it's exempt.
Oh, I'll have to talk about that.
Is, if there are no questions, I'll entertain them. Oh,
Oh, there's Karen.
hey Karen,
Okay, yep.
there we
Hold on
go.
now, sorry. We'll
No problem.
Help you there,
No problem, we're getting used to that. Is,
right?
you're not the only one, trust me. So, we were just talking about the municipal valuation return. No, Steve went through and, you know, talked about all the different exemptions and everything and what we have. No, is there anything that you
Right.
would like to add?
No, so basically it's a 10-page report that, it's an annual report that was required for us to submit to Maine Revenue Services. It basically provides them with information that they'll use for the reimbursements for the Betty exemptions, that's the business tax exemption programs, and the homestead as well, the homestead exemptions where we get a 70% reimbursement. They want to know how many we have there. And then they like to keep track of tree growth and farmland and open space. Those are the current use programs, as well as the exempt properties, how many we have, and they just like all to be categorized and so forth. So it's really a matter of putting all of that information that they want in this one report.
And
It's based off of, it's based off of what we just committed for taxes as far as values go.
are there any questions of Karen? If not, I'd entertain a motion to accept the municipal valuation return.
So moved.
I have a motion?
Second.
A motion and a second. Is without any further discussion, I'll go through the roll. Ed,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
and myself is yes. 4-0. So that brings us to our abatements.
Yep. Yep.
So we
You want
have,
me to take over on that?
yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, sure. So we have two abatements tonight. The first one is Ready Mix Company. This is a personal property account where they emailed the declaration and Betty applications to us, and we just missed it. They sent it to a different email address, and it simply was not processed as it should have been for tax commitment. So we made the adjustment, and the owner was assessed $125,610 when it should have been assessed at $52,618. And therefore, it's recommended that an abatement in the amount of $1,413.13 be granted.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Without further discussion, I'll go through the roll. Is Ed?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Next, Karen?
Yep, okay, the next one up is, this is a vacant parcel. It sold back in 2018. It was assessed to the incorrect owner because there were two parcels and they were both described within the deed, and it got missed. And then we were to merge them, but we had an issue with merging the parcels, and we were going back and forth with the tax mapper. And so for this commitment, it did not get didn't get merged when it, in time for commitment. So we're going to merge it, and we need to make that correction. So they should not be, billed for this parcel because this parcel amount should be merged within the abutting parcel U6-5. So therefore, it's recommended that an abatement be granted in the amount of $127.78.
Move we accept as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Without discussion, I'll go through the roll. Ed?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. And then we have a farmland penalty.
Yep, that's the next one up. So the property owners of 27 Pigtail Lane submitted a written request to a written request dated September 28th to the assessor to remove 3.93 acres from the farmland program. So as a result, the penalty must be assessed pursuant to the farmland laws. The next page is the farmland calculation spreadsheet that was used to determine the penalty. The penalty is the amount that would be the difference between what they were assessed versus what they should have been assessed for that parcel, times the mill rate, and we go back for the previous 5 years. And that also, we must calculate the interest rate, then that's a cumulative interest rate that we determined. So it goes back from 2015 through 2019. And the total amount is $1,045.81.
Move we accept as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Without discussion, I'll go through the roll. Ed?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Mike?
So we have no second public comment because we have no public. Is the executive session, have you explained that, Steve?
Yeah, I received a call today from the applicant, and she could not be here this evening. I told her I'd schedule for the next meeting, and have her, we'll give her a call just to remind her that she needs to come before the board. So that's on hold.
Tabled again.
Yep.
Any other business, non-agenda items anybody wants to bring up? If not,
Ready to go vote?
everybody go vote, yeah.
Make sure you vote.
Is final motion?
Motion to adjourn.
All those accepted? Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Aye.
Good night.
Patty, I'll see you in the morning.
Don't forget.